Have you ever felt that the lobbies you're playing in are way higher skill levels than you, even if you are good at the game? This video is going to be a really good guide for either of those categories, whether you're just learning the game or you're just trying to get better and play way better in Fortnite. In this video, we're going to be going over 5 different categories: how to get better at building and editing, how to become more confident while you're fighting, the best warm-up game modes, how you and your team should play, and lastly, optimization for best FPS. This last one is going to be more dedicated towards PC players, but there will also be some little things in there that you can do on console as well. Before we get into it, if you guys would like to support me in any way, using code Xannvy in the Fortnite item shop, that's Xannvy with 1N, is a good way to support me. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so first we're going to be going over the building and editing. If you guys want a good free build map, this is my map, 1v on FFA Arena. There's also heaps of weapons and items in these little things here, so you can 1v on your friends in this map as well. Also, before we get into it, I am playing on Xbox controller, for those of you wondering. If you're playing on keyboard and mouse or PlayStation controller, this video is still going to be good for you. It just may say some different buttons. Also, down on the little watch time bar, I will be having chapters, so if you guys already know building and editing, you're perfect with your building and editing, then just skip up to the chapters that you need. Also, I do not use edit on release. I do use reset on release though. But without further ado, let's start out with editing. So first up, we're going to go over crosshair placement. So if you don't know what the crosshair is, it's the thing in the center of your screen. Some people like Mr. Savage, Mongrel, I'm pretty sure. Lots of pros use crosshair X. You can get crosshair X if you're on PC, but honestly, I do prefer just the normal Fortnite crosshairs. So with crosshair placement, once we place down the builds, so I'll place down one of each. As you're building, you're going to want to have your crosshair right in the center of where you want to edit. So say I'm running up and I want to edit a quick little like left-hand peek down the bottom like this. So when you're running up, you don't want to have your crosshair all the way over here, because then you're going to want to edit and then you're going to have to look back there. You also don't want to have your crosshair in the middle, because then you're going to be dragging it all the way across all 4 of the squares. The fastest way for editing, try and memorize where all these squares are. Then when you're going to want to go for a peek, so let's say right hand peek, you're going to memorize these squares. So I remember it's about here, and that's the top one, and then that's the one in the middle there. So when I run up, I can just quickly do that. This is really good for all of them, apart from like dragging across there. You're still going to want to drag across anyway. It is better to try and start out when you're dragging across, to try and start out on the edge here, because then you're just dragging across real fast. But when you want to do a little one like this, you're going to want to try to get right here on the corner, so you can just quickly go across like that, and then you're not dragging all the way in the middle of those squares. Then you should be able to do it pretty consistently. If you want to just do it down like that, you can do that as well. Window edits are just really easy. It doesn't really matter at all where you want to have your crosshair when you're doing window edits, unless you want to do like one like these, which I mean, who's doing this edit? So that's going to be the same for cones as well. If you're trying to flip your cone either like this, or just anyway in general, you're gonna want to just try and have your crosshair near the center, right near the first one that you're going to click. Let's say I want to make it into a ramp like this. You don't want to run up and then have your crosshair here. You're going to want to run up and then have your crosshair in front of you, so you can quickly just drag it across. So as you're running up, you can quickly just grab it, and you're already on the edge of this square, and then you just quickly go over to that way. Now we're going to save stairs for last, because they are pretty different to any other ones. Floors are pretty much the exact same as cones, as they have the 4 squares here. So if you want to do any like edits like these, just make sure your crosshair is right onto where you want to do it. So for example, if you're running up and you want to do an edit here, you do not want to have your crosshair like over here, because then you're going to be running up, looking to the left, and then have to go all the way to the right, which it might not seem that it takes that long just to look over, but it's way quicker if you just be ready. Same with if you're going to do a drag edit, make sure your crosshair is like over here and not all the way over this side, because then you can quickly just drag it across. You're also going to be wanting to practice the consistency of your edits, so you can keep doing them over and over. You're going to be want to practicing them like while running or while building other things, doing other edits as well. So later in the video, I am going to be showing a few good maps. One of those maps is going to help you aim, edit, and build warm-up course. I'll get into that more later in the video, but that is definitely probably one of the best ones to practice your editing in. Now onto stairs. So for stairs, it's honestly going to be a little bit harder, since you have like all these different ones. All you're gonna have to worry about is just clicking right in like the center here. If you want to do like a Mongrel classic, you're gonna want to quickly edit that and then grab that. So you're grabbing right on the edge of the square right there and just down to here. So same for if you want to flip the stair this way, grab right onto that corner there, and then just when you get right here, that's when you're gonna want to confirm. If you want to do a full like 360 one like that, you're gonna want to grab this corner and try to stay as close to the edges like this as possible, So you're just touching those squares. And that's the best advice I can give you for the fastest like stair edits. For me, I can pretty much do them pretty quickly and consistently. Once you get the hang of it, you will become really good and consistent with it. But anyway, now let's move on to building. So when you're building, so obviously it is 2025. You're not going to be wanting to rush people like this. If you're going to be rushing people, ramp brushing, like not many people do ramp brushes anymore though. But if you do come into a situation where you're in a build fight, the best thing you want to do while you're building is try and cover yourself up as you're building. So work on your edits, and as you're building, try and like tarp yourself. So see how all of this is pretty much closed in. That's going to be the best for even not just the enemy that you're fighting, but third partyers as well trying to shoot you. Mainly when you're just facing the enemy's direction, you just want to be covering yourself up from the enemy. Also, one quick other tip that I forgot to add in this segment. Every time you're going to box up, so when you're full piecing yourself, never do single box. Now the reason is because single boxes are way easier to attack, and when your wall gets taken by the enemy, especially if they place a stair in here as well, then you have to edit to get out. Every time you're getting pressured, you always want to try and double box, so that's 1 and then 2 boxes. Maybe even do triple boxes if you're really like wanting to be extra safe. Also, placing cones as well and getting used to standing on cones is going to be better. Even if you just edit the cones up like that, that means when the enemy does come and take your wall, they can't place any of their stairs or anything in there, and they'll have to try and hit it up there, or spray out your cone if they do want to place a stair in there. Just a little tip that will give you even more control when you're fighting other players. So now we're going to be getting into how to become more confident while you're fighting. So I'm going to load up a reload for this. If you are trying to get better at the game, playing reload is going to be one of your best options. In reload, you have 3 lives in a match, which in a second we're going to get into why that's important. Alright, so for this one, it may hurt a couple of your guys' egos. Honestly, if you are really trying to get better at the game, you need to stop blaming the game for stuff. So for example, you hit someone for like 40 with a pump. Instead of blaming the game, maybe try and think about how your crosshair placement is. So we'll try and get a bit closer to this guy. So if I shoot on the side, it's going to hit for 70. If I shoot with my crosshair directly on him, it's going to hit 120. Honestly, Ranger isn't really the best to like show this with because you're usually using pumps, but when you're shooting a shotgun, it usually sprays out more than 1 bullet at a time, especially on tags. So if you're going to shoot someone on the side, only 1 or 2 of those bullets are going to hit that player. So say I'm going to shoot him, but my full crosshair isn't on him. So obviously it's hitting him for 21 there, and then I hit 52 right at the end. That's because my crosshair was fully on him. Sometimes Fortnite may mess up, and you may have good crosshair placement, but still be getting bad like damaged hits off. So right there, I hit him for 60 and my crosshair was on the side of him. So this is an AI, so it's the best to try and test this out on. If I have my whole crosshair on him, it's going to hit him for 100 body shot. Now the next thing is just rush everyone. Don't hide in buildings. Don't try and hide away from anyone, even if you think they're better than you. So see this guy, he's pretty sweaty. He's trying to like ramp rush us or something. Instead of running away, we're going to rush into him. We're going to let him fight us. Like see, he's starting to run off now. Obviously, if you're going to get low, then definitely run off to try and heal in that. But don't just keep running off from every single fight. The best way to learn is by dying over and over. Okay, so we see a kid right here. We're just going to chase him down instead of like trying to run off or disengage in the fight. He didn't really seem to want to fight us though. So we see shooting over this way. Instead of just hiding, trying to get better loot, we're just going to rush into these fights. Honestly, this lobby is not really going to make you any better at the game if you're getting lobbies like this. So what I'd personally recommend is go straight into ranked. I'd do it in solos so you're not like dying over and over with your duos. But once you're in solos, you're going to just want to keep rushing people over and over. So where's this guy going? See, he's running off. And he has shield as well. Like, why is he running off with shield? He should just keep pushing me in because look, with him running off, that's not going to get him better at the game. He's just going to die either way. He should have just kept trying to fight me. So that is some like sweaty Miles Morales looking guy. I'm actually surprised that I haven't died yet, but we're just going to keep pushing people till we do die. So here's Miles Morales. We hit him once and then he's going to run. But look, he's coming back. Okay. He knows what's good for him. The more you die is the better you're going to get. Hit this guy for 90, he's in our box, and he had a purple scar for us. Okay, more shooting up this way, and it looks like more sweaty guys. Even though they're on height and they're both fighting each other, we're gonna just rush in. We're gonna be placing cones and that as we come up so they can't get free shots on us. And we're gonna hit him. And he boogie bombs himself, what? Okay, that's one thing you should not do. Also, a good tip for when you're trying to take people's walls, get a stair, rotate it this way, then instead of going up and pickaxing the wall so your whole body's out so they can just, if they're good at the game, The second that you break the wall, they're just going to pre-fire you. Instead of doing that to take walls, you're going to want to sit right here. So them in the box, they're not going to be able to see you at all. Even if they come over here, they'll only just be able to see you. Right under your stair here and shoot the wall. Get it down to 1, then you're going to take it. And keep doing that to take walls instead of jumping up to pickaxe them. Obviously, I didn't do that in the last fight, but I didn't really have to against that gecko. Yo, we're getting third party by everyone. So I'm still pretty low, but I'm going to rush this kid anyway. Even though I just saw him popping a big pot. Because I kind of do want to die. Since that's the whole purpose of this. So this guy's rushing in. Alright, so we're low. We should run off to heal. But instead, that was not really a good example. I crouched instead of resetting the wall, but that is good though. We died. So we're going to rush back in straight away. That got our aim a bit better, I guess. Someone rushing up though. It's a Squid Games guy. See, we hit him once for 46 and he runs. This is not what you guys want to be doing. I'm only 100 HP as well. Okay, he's come back now. Yo, who's this? Okay, that's one thing you should definitely not do. You should never jump into someone's box like that. But there's 2 guys right here. GG's, buddy. Yo, it's Miles Morales from before. He ran from us before, but now he's got the confidence to fight again. The thing is, instead of him running before and now wanting to fight us, look, like this guy gave up. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying about Miles Morales, he should have kept fighting us. And if he did die, then it's not really the end of the world. The reason I say this is because the majority of the Fortnite players, the second that they get low, they run off. Instead, you should just box up and try and heal up, then go back into the fight. Or they just camp in buildings all game. There we go. We only hit him for 47. We're getting shot out by someone else now there. Probably best just to drop down. So this dude up here, he's camping in that base. Yo, what? It's Miles Morales again. Okay, he got us low, so we need to heal up a bit. I'm surprised we got such a small zone for this game. This isn't really too good though. We've just got our Thunder and Scar. I mean, we still got our mats, so... Okay, we have Miles Morales here again. Alright, let's go. Nice little beam on him. Cracked Miles Morales, let's go. And now he's out of the game. That's because we never gave up. 2 kids left. We have this... What's that? Chaos Agent. GG's Chaos Agent. Now it's a 1v1 situation. This guy's just hiding behind a rock. And he has mats. Like, what? Why are you hiding behind a rock? Yo, wait, we've got no mats though. Okay. Well, I mean... Like, we have a Scar and he had overshield as well. Like, well, it's pretty much the 2 main things that we're trying to focus on when you're in proper games like that. It's not a tournament, so be confident while you're fighting. Think of the enemy as they're not that good. Do not be scared when you're pushing people. Don't try and put the enemy up on a pedestal thinking that they're so good, because then you'll overthink the fight and you'll not consciously do it, but you'll subconsciously lose the fight. And just keep pushing people over and over and learn from your mistake. Think about why you died. Did you die because you didn't try and box up and heal? If you do have shockwaves and you have to run away, if the enemy just keeps pressuring your box while you're like 10 HP, definitely run off, but then go back to that guy after you've healed up. That's just the best advice I can give right now. Now we're going to be going over the best game modes that you can play. So these are all just my recommendations. You do not have to play these game modes. You can play whatever game modes you want, but these are the top 5 ones that I just think are the best for warming up. So obviously Battle Royale, Reload, they're the ones that you're going to be wanting to play in real matches. I'm talking more like mini game modes, like creative and that. So one I do recommend for 0 build players, or if you are builds, this game mode is really good if you want to improve your skill. It is actually Blitz. Now, some people may have mixed opinions on this. The reason I recommend Blitz is because for aiming, that's pretty much all it is. It's 0 build, so you're just practicing your aim. It's not really good if you're going to be playing it heaps. If you are a builds player, which most of you guys watching this video probably are builds players, or you're trying to get into builds, I'd only recommend Blitz if you're just trying to get your aim better. Next up, I recommend Peace Control 2v2 or Peace Control 1v1. I recommend any of the Peace Control maps. Now, generally, Peace Control is pretty much just 2v2 box fights, but it has different realistic layouts, which are going to be way better for when you're actually trying to warm up, as box fights are more empty. Peace Control does get you way better at aiming, editing, not so much building as much as it's just a small area, but I do recommend that. The next one I recommend is Realistics. Now, I would mainly try and do Bullseye's Rapid Realistics. You can play whatever one you want, just the finest maps aren't really really that good. That's just in my opinion, but I'd recommend playing Bullseye's one. It does have lower players, but it just feels better playing in my opinion. This is another realistics type map, but it's a bit different. It's Martoz's 1v2 clutch realistics. This map is going to get you way better at practicing your 1v2ing, which is good if your teammate is not near you, or if your teammate does get knocked, you're gonna have to 1v2. So playing 1v2 speed realistics is definitely a really good warm up. It's better than 2v2 realistics, as you're always gonna have your teammate at the start, and 1v2, you're gonna have both ways in 1v2. You're gonna be 2v1ing, or you're going to be 1v2ing. So it's got the best of both worlds in this one. Now lastly, I'm going to be recommending my own map, which I did bring up before. If you type XannvyY, that's Xannvy of 1N, you'll find aim, edit, and build warm-up course. This is made all in Creative 1.0. It's not made in UEFN, so it doesn't have any like added things to make the map glitchier. And it's also ran with low memory, so you can get the best performance in this map. UEFN maps, they just tend to be a bit glitchy, and I just don't really like playing them too much. I'm just gonna quickly go through all of these just to show you guys it. So we have all these different sections: edit practice, edit courses, aim training, 1v1/free build, and the free build tunnels. Now free build tunnels are definitely going to be the best, but we are saving that one for last. So we're going to start off with edit practice. It teleports you here, so straight edits, edit downs, edit ups. I have made a video on this before, but this has just got your generic like straight edits, Mongra classics, your reset edits, again with the reset, but then like flip back Mongra classic resets. Then the last section is just all random. I'm not going to go through all of it. If you guys want to play, code's up on the top of the screen. I'll let you guys go and explore that yourself. With edit downs, it has straight downs, so obviously just going straight down all the way down to the bottom, and then it has stare downs, so you can flip the ramps and then it goes down this way. So it's got two different sections for down edits, pretty much everything that you need. So with the cones as well, and then cones and stairs. Now lastly on this one, we have edit ups. So obviously single tiles, double edits, triple edits, quad edits, and then we have these quad edits that you flip the ramp, then do the quad edit. Now edit courses. So these edit courses are all just random made. We have easy, medium, hard, and extreme. They're just pretty much these boxes that go on and on. They don't go on for too long, so I would recommend starting out with easy, then going on to the medium, hard, etc. There's also a reset map button if you do want to reset those edit courses or anything else on this map. So let's quickly go on to aim training. So we have the OG guns if you're playing like reload and that. Then we have the brand new guns if you are trying to warm up for battle royale. But in all of these sections, there's just these little bots. So we have that right hand peak there, one that's upstairs like that. You can either do a zero build, or you can like build and try and practice your edits as well. I'll let you guys go through it all yourself. So these are all the down ones. Then we have these upstairs ones, which are going down. Now the 1v1/free build area, pretty much self-explanatory. We have all of these different items here: shotguns, ARs, and then the two basic ones there. Just a 1v1 start where you can just free build, or you can 1v1 your friends. Now lastly for this map, we have the free build tunnels. So there's straight tunnel, tunnel up, tunnel down, or random tunnel. Pretty much these tunnels are just blank tunnels that you can just edit for on and on. Pretty much like the edit courses, the ones that we showed earlier, but you can just free build in them. So straight tunnel, then we have tunnel up, which is just going up, tunnel down, which is going down obviously, and then random tunnel, which is the best for practicing, which is just going like randomly all around, then it goes up, and it also drops down at some stage as well. Like right here, it drops down. Now before we go into optimizing your game for the best performance, let's go into the best way you and your team should play. Now whether this is duos, trios, or squads, all these things should really factor in, and you should always be considering them while you're playing. So now I know lots of teams fight over this one, but if you're really trying to win, figure out who the best player on your team is, and whoever that is, I'd recommend giving them the best shotguns. So pretty much give the player that's the best with shotguns the best shotgun. If they're not good with shotguns, but they're the best with ARs, give them the best AR. Give the player that's the best with the ARs the best AR in the game, and so on. So if you know your teammate's a really good builder, and maybe you're not as good, but you're still good, you just know that they're better, maybe give them the better shotgun and more mats. Next is when you see a duo, you shouldn't split up and 1v1. This is a common mistake that lots of people make. They split up and they 1v1 the other players. The best way to get a kill is by 2v1ing. So you're going to always want to stick with your teammate. Don't run off, don't go fight the other player. Stick next to your teammate as best as you can and try and fight the same person as them. Once that person's knocked, then try and go for the next one. Now this is going to be different depending on any of your fights, but 9 times out of 10 this should work. Now with the comms, when you're giving out comms, you're not going to want to give out fake ones. So if you hit someone for like 110, you're not going to want to say 185. If you hit someone for 30, don't say you hit them for 100. If you didn't crack them, don't say that they're cracked. When you're giving out comms, instead of saying there's a squad here, come rush them, do not tell your teammates what to do. Same with if you're spectating. If you see your teammate has no shield, but they have 2 minis in their inventory, don't say pop a shield. Instead, say you have shield in your inventory, or say you have 2 minis, whatever's the easiest. The reason is when you're telling people what to do, it does confuse them. And I've experienced this a lot myself. When people tell me what to do while I'm fighting, even if they're giving out good comms, it does confuse me, and that will eventually end up to you losing the games. So make sure if you get someone 1, but they knock you, instead of saying this kid's 1, come rush them, you should say I got this kid 1 and just leave it at that. Okay, so now for the final segment of this video, the best optimization for FPS. Everything works on PC, but I'll quickly go over what works on consoles as well first. So we're going to quickly go into the settings. We're going to go to the game tab and scroll all the way down to you see replays. If you have a good PC, you can keep them on, but best for consoles, turn them off. Make sure they're all off. And honestly, I think that's pretty much it for consoles. So if you are on console, thank you guys for watching. But if you're on PC, let's get into the rest of it. So if you're unfamiliar with rendering mode, you're going to want to make sure it's on performance mode. It does look way worse than what DirectX 11 or DirectX 12 does, but it will give you the best FPS. Now with frame rate limit, you're going to want to set it to 1 above what your FPS is. So say you run on 144, you're going to want to set it to 160. This is because when frame drops, if you're dropping from 160 to 150, but you only have a 144 Hz monitor, if you cap your FPS to 144 and you have a 144 Hz monitor, when your frames drop even from 144 to 140, you will feel it a little bit. Honestly, if you're 30 or 60 on PC, just go buy a console. But if you're playing on 120 Hz, make sure your FPS is set to 144, 160, 160, 165, so on until you get up to 240. You do not want to be setting it to 360. And with 360, you do not want to be setting it to unlimited. So if you're on 360, leave it at 360. If you're on 240, leave it at 240. My monitor is 280 Hz, but I just cap it at 240 because the extra 40 FPS is not really worth going up to 360, since that's just way more stress on my PC and it does not really feel much different anyway. Next, you're going to want to scroll down. So right here, you have 3D resolution. If you have a good PC, leave it at 100%. If you don't have a good PC, then you can turn it down a little bit. I'd recommend anywhere above 90. On my old PC, I used to play around 94, which you can kind of tell it is a bit pixelated. If your PC is really that bad, then definitely probably set it to at least probably 60 or higher. Honestly, it is pretty bad though, so I'd at least go around 90. 90 is still pretty decent, but it's just not really that much of a boost, so keeping it on 100 is way better. So now under 3D resolution, we cannot touch this because we're not on DirectX 12, so that should be off. View distance, now some people put it on far. The thing is, where players load in, on far, near, medium, and epic, it's the exact same distance, so it will not give you a competitive advantage at all. So you might as well just leave it on near. Textures, you'll want to leave them on low. Not that it really, I'll put it on epic. It honestly, what is this even doing anything? I genuinely do not think that did anything. Then meshes, you can't change them while playing a match, but have those on low. You do not want them on high. You can have show FPS on if you really want to. Now latency markers, just leave them off, only if you're really trying to look at your graphics card markers, but that's really irrelevant. Then make sure that NVIDIA Reflex low latency is on plus boost. So that's pretty much all for the Fortnite in-game settings. Now we're going to go on to the PC settings. Starting out, you're going to want to go into your Epic Games launcher. Where Fortnite is right here, click on these little 3 dots right next to it. Then you want to go to options. If you don't play Save the World, make sure Save the World isn't ticked. More storage on your device just makes the game run worse. High resolution textures, we're not even using them. If you are using them, then why are you even watching this video? But now for the important one, it's pre-download streamed assets. Make sure this is ticked. It's only 8.93 gigabytes. This will make your ping lower, as when you do not have this ticked, skins, emotes, etc., they all load in, downloading as the players are like coming near you. Next, you're going to want to go to GeForce Experience or the NVIDIA app. Honestly, I do not like the NVIDIA app, so we're just going to stick on GeForce Experience right now. So then you're going to want to go up here to your drivers, go check for updates, and then download the newest drivers. Sometimes I don't really like downloading them since they do sometimes bug out and they make your FPS worse. If it does make your FPS worse, it's not that hard to revert to your old driver. So always before you update, make sure that you know what version driver you're using, just in case you do need to revert. If you search up on the GeForce site, you will be able to find all those drivers. So if I search GeForce driver 576.88. Make sure it's the official NVIDIA site. You don't want to be downloading viruses. But first link, and it's right here. So I can save this URL, then download this new driver. If this new driver makes my game run bad, then I can just revert it. Next, you're going to want to find the NVIDIA control panel. Now this bit, all credit goes to Jarian. I did copy all his settings. So pretty much you're going to want to go to 3D settings up here, adjust image settings with preview. Make sure it's on use advanced 3D image settings. Press take me there. Now I'm not going to go over all of these, but I will scroll down really slowly. Just pause the video whenever you need to and copy all of these settings up on screen. Then go here to change resolution. Make sure you're not on Ultra HD, HD, SD. So just go down to PC, click on 1920 by 1080 or whatever the highest one is for your monitor. Make sure the refresh rate is at the top. So mine's 240 Hz since I have to overclock my monitor for the 280. So put it on the highest one that you're going to be using, then click apply, and yes. I hope this video did help out some of you guys. If you did enjoy, then make sure you let me know with a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.